Hello, this reading is going to be about Sarah Nicole Graham, who went missing February 4th, 2015. Her mother and her stepmother and her two stepbrothers have recently been arrested in connection, the mother getting the main charge and the son's accessories. So I did a reading on her a while ago. Somebody, thank you, went to my comment section and said I should probably look back at it. Things that were happening in my reading were playing out yesterday. So Sara was on her way to work. She worked at Walmart. It was 6:30 in the morning, and then they found her van, I think a few hours later, and she has been missing since. So, I was going to do figuring out the lie, but I'm just going to do a straight up read, because her body is still missing, and I'm wondering why this happened. Her stepmother and father, so she moved in with them a short while before this happened, I believe, and the father was the sheriff and the stepmother was the sheriff deputy, so they were both in law enforcement. So in her reading she got expansion. What else did she get? She got the prison card. And I couldn't figure out what that was. I thought it might have been somebody from work or an ex, but towards the end of the reading, it came out a mother figure. There were two knights in there, so that could be the two sons. Now I'm thinking about that reading. Okay, so I'm just going to do a read. Let's see how Sara passed. And let's ask where she is. So I got the Six of Swords, Judgment, and the King of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles came out in her original reading. Queen of Pentacles, Page of Swords, Knight of Swords, Eight of Swords, which also speaks of prison, and the Knight of Pentacles. So something was going on between the stepmother and the father. I think something was going on with the stepmother, within the stepmother. This could have been menopause or something. Some kind of chemical imbalance, allegedly. This is me just thinking this. But making it difficult. Something happened between these two. The stepmother and Sara. And I want to figure out what that is. So it looks like the father, they probably had a tumultuous relationship on and off, back and forth, both in high stress occupations. But this Six of Swords. So this here, it portrays the savagery and ruthlessness of warfare. Individuals or creatures associated with this card, I meant to look that up, engage in chaotic and impulsive actions during battle. Hold on, I have to get my dictionary because I didn't look up this one word. Hopefully it's in here. Please be in here, please be in here, please be in here. not in here? Sugar. Alright, sorry. Individuals or creatures associated with this card engage in chaotic and impulsive actions during battle, disregarding the consequences. So say her and her stepmother get into an argument that quickly turns violent because somebody's either stressed out, hopped up on drugs, running on adrenaline, controlling, possessive, obsessed. I wish I knew what this word was. So if she's fighting with this poor little 19-year-old, like, the girl didn't stand a chance. It represents a lust for action, challenge, and excitement above all else. The card frequently signifies malevolent lycanthropes. Lycanthropes. I don't know what that is. And I don't think I have a book. Six of Swords, maybe. I don't know what that is. Whose beastly instincts drive them to commit chaotic and violent acts. So it's kind of saying the stepmother was uncouth. Let me see if I have it in this deck. That would be amazing if it's in here. Come on. 1 second, please. No. Alright, tell me what the heck was going on here. Judging somebody, calling somebody out, taunting. I feel like I got that in her original reading, taunting. Sara, what was going on with you and your stepmother? What was going on between you and your stepmother? What was going on between you and your stepmother? Nostalgia. The old days, the old dad, the old family, the old ways. What was going on between you and your stepmother? Sara, what was going on between you and your stepmother? The Knight of Swords in reverse. So lies, a dark evil man. I don't know. One more. What was going on between you and your stepmother? Deception. She was telling the dad lies? Or, I don't know what I'm getting. I got this when I rewatched the reading I did for her before. Because I kept saying somebody was hitting on her, making her feel uncomfortable, relentlessly going at her. So I don't know if one of the stepbrothers, was improper. I got taunting, I got flirting, I got obsessing, I've got illusions. Nostalgia, deception, an evil man, the Knight of Swords in reverse. An evil person with the Six of Swords. Was she complaining about the stepbrother? And that was, I mean, rightfully so, in that brought problems in the marriage. Knight of Swords in reverse. Unwillingness to concede a point. Becoming vindictive, spiteful, and psychological abuse. Isn't this interesting? So all three of these have on hats. Somebody either was hopping on her, felt judged, or was judging her. Nostalgia. Let's see if I get anything. Alright, in 1688, Johannes Hofer, I think, wrote about a mysterious disease which had broken out among Swiss soldiers fighting abroad. It began with being distracted by thoughts of home before progressing to lethargy and sadness. Strange physical symptoms followed. Some soldiers died of the illness, wasting away from a refusal to eat. Hofer invented a new word to describe the disease, nostalgia, from the Greek, a homecoming or return, and algus, pain. By the 19th century, nostalgia had become one of the most studied medical conditions in Europe, and the last person to be diagnosed and die from the disease was an American soldier fighting in France in 1918. Psychological studies have recently emphasized the benefits of indulging in nostalgic reflections, suggesting it increases our sense of existential meaning and social connectedness. Researchers in China have even noticed that nostalgic feelings are more common in colder weather. This was February, arguing that reminiscing may serve an evolutionary purpose by raising our body temperature. Interesting. From deadly disease to health-giving pastime in less than a century, nostalgia ain't what it used to be. Interesting. So, if she was reminiscing or nostalgic about, maybe they were just talking about old, I don't know. Something went really wrong here. Alright, let me see in my... on the... Alright, let me do the musician.
I've used a lot of basket air fryers over the years, so when this one showed up in stainless steel, my first thought wasn't about how it looked, it was whether it actually makes a difference in how it cooks.
So I think my neighbors are tapping into my Bluetooth, which is that what that was. Morons. Oh, if they just move. So the musician, deception. The rubber-lipped musician does not want to play for me anymore. Something you thought was going to happen is not going to. Someone is acting, quote-unquote acting, a certain way, like they're going to help, but they're deceiving you. She got that in the last reading, untrustworthy. Sometimes we think/feel a certain way, but when the time comes, we change our mind. Someone is being stubborn. So on my list of tarot cards dealing with death, I know the Knight of Swords is on there. What else did she get? The Six of Swords? That's not on there. So the Knight of Swords is sudden death, approach of physical death, quick and sudden. An argument escalated and turned quickly into a violent event. Also, she was being watched because the Page of Swords came out, so that's being watched. Then, right after that was the Knight of Swords. And interestingly enough, you guys know I like to pull from different decks, but they were two from the same deck, which could have meant family. Again, it came out the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords, Eight of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. So I don't know if the two brothers was the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. And she would be the Page of Swords because she's younger. Yeah, that makes sense. So this was all mental entrapment. That's what was going on here. Let me actually see, because the Empress did come out for Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, a Brody woman. Empress and Death, a Bladed Aurum, Missed Miscarriage. Alright, let's get some stickers. So, I don't know if the argument was between the stepmother and Sara, the stepmother and the actual Sara's father, the married couple, the stepmother or the stepfather and the sons. Something going on here. There was some kind of battle going on between somebody. Alright, tell me why the Six of Swords. Let's do it like we did it in the old days. Why the Six of Swords? Somebody wanted somebody to move, somebody said they were moving, then they didn't move. Somebody torched somebody until they moved. Let me go over here. Why the Six of Swords? Why the Judgment? And why the King of Pentacles? Six of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Unwanted intimacy. Why the Judgment? So this knight's back. And what was it? The Knight of Swords. Okay, hold on. Because that knight... Okay. Two jacks together. Untrustworthy. This is the frickin'... This came out in her last reading. Untrustworthy people around the Inquirer. But now I have three knights, and that's quarrels. Right? Yeah, I have the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. This knight came out in the last one. this Knight of Swords and the different Knight of Swords. And a different Knight of Pentacles came out in the last one. So these two were already here. Alright. And the King of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, his wish. Parthenon. Okay, I want to see what was the fight about. Hold on. Sara? The son that helped, so one son helped allegedly get rid of the body, and the other son burned evidence. The one that helped get rid of the body, I think he has way more. I'm going to take the bottom too, because I was going to ask where she is. And I kept saying the mountains, the mountains, the mountains. In her first reading. What's on the bottom? How did you die, Sara? Dismemberment. Ooh. Okay, and that's what it said, that the second son getting rid of human parts. A dark, evil man. Heartbroken with that heart there like this. Okay. It's like he's carrying something. That's the other thing. 3 statues came out in her first reading. He's carrying something. Okay. How did you die? A sudden, quick, violent death. Dismembered, probably in a wooded area. I'm going to ask about that. Sara Nicole Graham, tell me what happened. Sara Nicole Graham. Knowledge, information, father, because there's a star here and a star on his head. Sara Nicole Graham, what happened? Okay. The Hierophant, look at the book there. So not following, I can't see what that says. I don't know what that is. I'm not reading it. It's probably some weird voodoo stuff. This Taylor Swift. They might find her lower jaw. The Empress in reverse, which the Empress came out in the first reading, which led me to know it was a mother. And she also has a book. Was the stepmother blackmailing the father? Ooh. Jennifer's body. She's evil, and not just high school evil. Diabolical comics. And a piece of marble. Tell me what happened here. Sarah, what was the argument, fighting, quarreling about, debating? Countdown to doom. Dire predictions, doomsday, cataclysm, race against time, bomb, prophecy, end of days, ticking clock, deadline, time, nuclear holocaust, world war, beep, 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 Ragnarok. What's at the bottom? What was the argument about? The basement. Wine cellar, cockroach, crypt, underground, concrete floor, secret space, dust, light bulb, bric-a-brac, secret files, crate, old toy, memory, nostalgia, mousetrap, storage facility, old furniture. I wonder if this is the father's house that he once lived in with Sara and the first family, or Sarah's family, and then the stepmother moved in here. Did him and the stepmother get a house together? I'm wondering about this house. Could she be buried around the house? Or was that a threat that was made to her? Alright, let's see, where is Sara? Where is Sara? Where is Sara? 3. Where? Okay. So a wooded area, court. That did come out. Near okay, clothing store, and 9 of cups again. Hold on. I don't know. They might want to look around a courthouse, a law office, school, library that's near the woods. But she definitely got a law case with the scales, the Lady of Justice, next to a big building that looked like this in her first reading. This would be outside that big building. This is the 9 of Cups. They're both the 9 of Cups. Me asking about this. Vanilla, bananas, strawberries. Where would you get a milkshake? So there's probably a mall, plaza, a shopping center, a law office, a library, a courthouse. This wasn't custody or divorce. There's some kind of court situation here, legal situation here. Child support, alimony, inheritance, Or this is them working as the sheriff and the sheriff's deputy, and the prison came out. I don't know. I forget where we are. We're in... I'll do a Google search. South Carolina. So, somewhere there's woods, a courthouse, law office, law library, college, possibly shopping plaza, mall. Alright, let me just get a couple on this. Maybe a Greek part of a Greek neighborhood, Greek restaurant, ice cream shop. Sarah, where are you? Where are you? Where could they find your remains? Okay, so this to me is biology. It would be either near her father's house, her father's job, somewhere her father frequents. I got a wave, so there might be water nearby. Metallica, a concert venue, place. The letter Y. YMCA, maybe? What is this? Call your angels. More outside woods, trees, family tree, family plot, family where family's buried. There could be a cemetery around here, especially with this thing. This is black magic. But it looks like a mausoleum or... This is with the pink. That's my black magic stickers. And then I've got this witch here. Look at this.